Number of things to discuss with you, but let's just jump where we just left off on the inflation conversation. Can you tell us what you're seeing from a food inflation standpoint, how much you've had to raise menu prices across your array of restaurants, if at all?
Oh, I can just echo the previous segment where we have seen price increases since the first of the year, anywhere from 10% to 100%, particularly on proteins. And then there's supply chain issues of things we just can't get. But I also agree we've had to raise prices, but there has not been a lot of pushback right now from the consumer. So far, it's been good. The demand is incredible.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how business is overall, just because you're in major cities for the most part. We're talking about condensed areas, lots of people dealing with record number of COVID cases. We've got staffing issues all across the business landscape. How does yours look at this point?
It's the same. I think the demand for regular dining couldn't be stronger, and yet the employee base, we can't take care of all of it all the time and just keep an eye on making sure we're taking care of our employees. But we were very strong in October and November and all the way up with our best week, the first week in December. Then it's sort of fallen off, obviously, from Omicron. And we're getting hurt most really right now on large parties. Anything from 10 to 100 are dropping back. They're either canceling or they're shrinking the size of the party. And that's mainly because of the virus. However, the encouraging thing about that is almost all of them are rebooking for either the end of January or somewhere in the first quarter. I think there's a mindset that this might, not take as long, and they want to continue going on with their life right after this.
What about your own employees? We've heard about disruptions in all sorts of businesses, transit authorities around the country, fire departments, police departments, airlines. They just can't staff because staff is sick. How does it look from your standpoint? Are you having an issue there?
Yeah, we certainly have that issue across the country. We've had restaurants that have had to close 1, 2, or 3 days. We've had to reduce dining room sizes. We've had to close off rooms and dining rooms. We've had to limit reservations. We've had to do everything we can to just manage with a smaller workforce. And we want to keep them safe.
How are you thinking, Kevin, about vaccine mandates? With 110 restaurants, you operate in cities across the country. Different cities have different requirements on that front with regard to being vaccinated, fully boosted, staff versus the patrons in your restaurants. How are you thinking about vaccines right now?
Well, 60% of our business comes from Chicago, and on January 3rd, it's a mandatory vaccination for both the guests and the employees. And the employee can either be vaccinated or tested every week. We're in favor of it. We think it's a safer environment for our employees as well as for our guests. We don't know what kind of pushback we're going to get. What I've seen in New York is that they seem to accept it pretty readily. And I'm imagining a great majority of our guests are going to be supportive of it. But we've also seen, we don't keep an exact number of our employees of who's been vaccinated or who's not, but we know anecdotally that they've absolutely gone out and gotten vaccinated based on the news that's coming here that will affect us next week.